The west of Ireland in May is a place of fields of wildflowers, dramatic clouds, dry stone walls, sunshine and wind. The best thing to do is wait until May when it stopped raining. Head to a lovely field covered in wildflowers with some wind-bent trees and a dry stone wall nearby. And hopefully a beautiful sky with dramatic clouds will be overhead. So all of these things are to be found along the seashore in County Galway, and in fact anywhere along the Wild Atlantic Way. When I saw these bent trees, I knew that I wanted to sketch here. So I started by making some shapes of trees and the line of the hill with the dry stone wall in the distance. And then I added some soft blue-grey for the bottoms of the clouds, letting the colour pool a little bit on the bottom half of each little dark patch. I use a mixture of shadow grey and burnt umber for this. Adding a bird always brings everything to life. Don't touch your clouds once you've painted them. Don't try and smooth them out, just let them dry and they'll look absolutely perfect. A little bit of ultramarine or phthalo blue or cerulean, any number of types of blue that will be lovely for a fresh early summer sky. Just don't forget to leave those fluffy white edges. Let it dry. Don't fiddle with it. Let it dry. Now, when you're drawing the shapes for the rocks, you can't rush them. Enjoy the process. Nice angular rocks. And no matter what you do, they'll look good anyway. A little bit of dark green ink for the undersides of the trees and the hedges gave it that sense of light. A skylark started giving it its all up above me in the sky, and I could see the skylark just hovering there, singing its little heart out. But as soon as I started filming, it stopped singing. Now I have my little friend in the back, of course, as always, hoping for a walk. Add some dark green paint onto the trees and the hedges. If you've used waterproof ink, that'll be no problem to you at all. Now for the rocks themselves, they'll often have really dark bits of shadow in between the rocks, for which I use black ink in a pen. But even though I had a little bag of inks with me, I didn't find any black ink that I could be confident at. Now I found this little vial of black ink, but I had a horrible suspicion it might be my homemade ink made from oak galls from the oak tree, from some of the many oak trees in my garden. Well, basically you grind them to a very fine powder and you soak them in water for a couple of months, and you're left with this really, really black liquid, which you then strain and add ferrous sulfate and gum arabic for texture, and you've got the same ink that people used for, 1300 years. But they do corrode, it does corrode pens. And because I wasn't 100% confident which ink I was using, I put the really dark shadows on with a brush. Okay, so I've done some sap green mixed with some yellow ochre for the grassy field. You have to use some yellow ochre because otherwise it's just too bright and vivid. So we've got a little bit of wildflowers in the foreground. Now I am putting on the stony shadows and colours the same way that I do skies, which is wet and wet. And it's a mixture of shadow grey and yellow ochre and burnt umber. And that's it really. Right, I've come to the end of this particular sketch. Well, all except for a little bit of, I don't know, messing around with wildflowers. And I quite like the effect of the daisy strewn field, and also there's some dandelions there, kind of gone over ones, and there's some fresh ones as well. So I'll probably add a few dots of yellow using a Posca pen when I get back, and same for the foreground as well. So yeah, a little bit of yellow to add to the white, and the Posca pen is fantastic for adding really bright pops of colour. Down at the shore, the wind was really blowing hard, so I had to give up my plans to paint the reflections in the tide. But I was very happy to paint this lovely West of Ireland scene, so classical. I go into intricate detail on how to paint this scene in ink and watercolour in my class. And you can book it ahead of time, you'll see the link below, or you can always catch up with the download at a later time. Either way, I look forward to meeting you. And thank you so much for watching.